The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio.
Coming up on the program today, we're going to discuss how you can plant fall garlic to harvest it in the spring, as well as 5 don'ts this fall. Our guest is YouTuber Wendi Phan will be with us, and we'll answer your garden questions. The hour's full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy you've chose us to be part of your day just for a little bit. I am your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to how to grow your garden, how to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Happy you're tuning in, whether you're doing that on one of the 20 AM and FM frequencies, broadcasting our program here in 2025 through a radio app, through our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Radio 9 season tab at the top of the page. Podcast replayer, in-studio video replay. Thank you so much. You want to be part of the program? Send your emails to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call, toll-free, coast to coast, 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. Well, before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's Joke of the Week.
What is small, red, and whispers?
One's cherry, strawberry, tiny tomato.
A horseradish, like it's horse.
Oh, it's horseradish. Okay.
But this week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests, insects like wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
Growing garlic. The traditional, typical, most successful method of growing garlic is you plant it in the fall in the northern areas of the United States. It overwinters, gets a number of cold or chill hours, and you harvest it in the spring based on the variety between June and July. There are some techniques in which you can grow garlic in southern warm climates, but we're going to focus on the northern portions, as that's where most of our listeners, terrestrial radio stations, are all at. And if you're listening on podcast replay, there are techniques that you can modify in your particular area if you're outside of the northern or central portions of the United States.
Right. So,
there's 2 different kinds.
There's
technically 3, but 2.
Yeah, so one, we'll just guess, like, we'll talk about the
yes.
third one, I guess, which is elephant garlic, which is not truly garlic. It's like an onion family.
You grow it like an onion. You plant it in the spring.
But it's not truly garlic.
Right.
They're all kind of part of the same family, but it's not truly garlic.
Right. It has a garlic flavor. It is very large and clove and easy to peel and process, but it's not a true garlic in the sense.
No. So something to keep in mind. So then there's hardneck and softneck. Hardneck is the kind that gets scapes. A scape is a seed pod that comes out of the top of the garlic, and the scapes are edible. They have a strong garlic flavor, and they are kind of like a pre-garlic treat.
Right. The elephant garlic is a cultivar or a broad leaf wild leek, essentially, is what it is.
Right. Okay. So there we go. So that's hardneck, softneck, and then hardneck, it is ready to harvest because you get the scapes, and then a couple weeks later, it kind of yellows, and then it's ready to harvest. Softneck doesn't have the scapes. Hardneck doesn't store as long. Softneck stores longer.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. I got those 2 right. Sometimes I mix those 2 up. And then the softneck, it's ready to harvest because it tips over like an onion.
Right.
Yeah. So, there's really no right or wrong answer. If you want hardneck versus softneck, you could.
Hardneck stores longer than softneck. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And hardneck is a better growing type of garlic for colder climates, for the northern areas.
Yes, it's very hardy. And there's a lot of varieties, and sometimes you can find them at your local farmer's market, or you can find them online to grow. You don't want to typically grow just random garlic you get from the grocery store. A lot of times it has growth inhibitors on it.
It's a generic, weak variety and terrible flavor.
Right. So you want to find a garlic seller.
Correct. Grower. Yeah.
Grower, whatever.
Jungseed.com has garlic available. You can use coupon code 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com. And we grow a variety of different garlic. Spanish Roja, German Hardy, Purple Glazer, German Hardy, I already said that. There's like 6 varieties we grow, but we don't specifically keep them identified in individual patches. We grow garlic, and we say the largest bulbs, which will contain the largest cloves, which we will plant in the fall. See, we harvested our garlic in early to mid-June. So it is curing. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we are taking those large bulbs, setting them aside, and we will open them up and find the largest cloves and plant them in October. You can plant them at any time as long as you can get them in the ground 2 to 3 inches and allow them to establish roots.
You want to plant them closer to freezing.
Right.
You don't want to plant them now.
You are any time we've ever planted garlic, we do get some top growth, which is fine.
Right. Yeah, that's fine.
That means the roots have established and it's starting to develop some vertical or some above ground growth, and then it will go in dormancy over the winter.
I have a friend who just grew garlic for the first time. And last, I think December, she was like, they're sprouting. Is that okay? And I was like, yes. And she was like, I thought I did something wrong. And I think I told her that they could sprout, but it's okay. It's kind of freaky though if you're not expecting it. But they're. I always say that garlic is stupid easy to grow, and
you don't have to have a garden to grow it.
Yeah. You and I really messed up a few times, and then we figured out what we were doing with help from the garlic guy. But yeah. So you want to make sure that it's okay that it does sprout. Now you can mulch, but you don't need to mulch. If you mulch, don't put like a foot of mulch over your garden. You just want to do like a thin layer, but it's really not necessary. You can just leave it as it is.
Now, we've never grown garlic in a container. We've only grown it in the ground. And if you've got a rose bed or a flower bed along the side of the house, you can grow garlic in the ground. It grows in very poor conditions and does very well. Growing garlic in pots is straightforward procedure that is perfect for people who are lacking space. With the right techniques, you can successfully cultivate homegrown garlic in a container on your patio or balcony. The thing that you want, the asterisk in that, is a 5-gallon bucket or 10-gallon grow bag of soil. Is when it gets to 0 degrees outside, it is a solid block. In the ground, yes, it is cold, but the earth warms the soil where 3 or 4 inches below ground is not as cold as the ambient temperature. Because that container is elevated, it is going to absorb all that coldness and doesn't mean it will, but can slow down or tamper with the development of the garlic.
So with that being said, I personally, if I was going to try to grow garlic in a container, I think I would instead find a place to just toss it in the ground. Corner
of the garden, corner of the yard, in a flower bed, somewhere.
So speaking of that, the where to plant is someplace that you need to know that it's going to take up at least 9 months, if not probably closer to 10 months of real estate.
Basically October to June, October to July.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Wherever you plant it, it's going to be there for the larger portion of the year, or of a year. And then you want full sun, and you want nice, rich, nutrient-rich, loamy soil. It's a root plant, so it needs looser soil to grow. Root crop.
You're not going to fertilize it in the fall. You're just going to plant it, get it to establish roots, going to go into dormancy. In the spring, it will naturally start growing when the soil is the right condition. temperature, and you can top dress it with compost. That's really the simplistic of fertilizing. We've never fertilized our garlic ever. We've just made sure that there was moisture, and typically in the spring there is plenty of moisture, and you can know when the hardneck garlic is getting close because you're going to harvest the scape. Use that as a dish. Wait 3 to 4 weeks, the lower set of leaves begin to die off, and you can dig it up. You don't want to leave it in the ground because mold can develop, and it can potentially...
And even pests, possibly.
Yeah. And soft neck garlic, the tops will fall over and crimp the stem like a bulbing onion would. Now the question is asked, well, can't I plant garlic in the spring? Well, you can. What we have found, we did this. We planted it in the fall, in October, harvested it in spring. We planted as soon as we could get it in the ground in the spring and harvested in August, September.
Yeah.
And the spring planting and harvesting in September was half the bulb size as the garlic that was planted in October and harvested in June. The garlic needs to have a certain number of cold hours to properly develop, to properly bulb or divide its bulb in order to have multiple bulbs or multiple cloves inside the bulb. So it is best to plant it in the fall and harvest it in the spring. In addition to doing that procedure, that time frame, it allows you to do one less thing in the spring, because in spring it's like, it's cold. Oh, it's warm. We should have done something 2 weeks ago, and you're trying to get everything done.
Yeah. So you want to just keep that in mind.
Reputable garlic dealer, grower, seller.
And you want to call them.
Yeah, and you don't want to buy store-bought. Now, if you have a friend who has a lot of garlic, you can ask them for some bulbs to order to plant. Now, you can plant a small clove from the bulb. You're just not going to get the larger bulbs that you may expect. A large clove will increase the...
Or maybe you have a coworker. I gave a couple of my coworkers garlic to grow, and they still tell me, and this was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they say, oh, we're still growing this garlic. We do exactly what you said.
There's nothing wrong with replanting.
Yeah.
And you're going to get bulbs of garlic based on the variety can have 4, 6, 12 cloves. Now, the larger number of cloves in the bulb is the smaller size clove. So it's not like you're going to have 12 cloves and it's going to be the size of a volleyball. Right. It's going to be, the size of a tennis ball type of diameter.
I should give my boss some garlic.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions in regards to growing garlic, certainly send the questions to gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or you can go to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, and in the right upper corner, there's a search engine. Just type in growing garlic, where you've got about a dozen plus in-depth how-to plant garlic, and you can pre-soak the cloves in compost to your water in order to help to jumpstart the germination of the root system, but it's not required. And whenever you plant your cloves in the ground, you're going to pull them apart of the bulb. Do not take the skin off of them like you would prepare a dish. Leave that skin on the clove, as that is a protective mechanism for the clove to allow it to grow and not have issues under the ground. And finally, if you are growing your homegrown garlic for the first time, or you're getting garlic that was grown and not store-bought, use about a quarter of what the recipe calls for, because it is very rich in flavor and it will overwhelm your palate. If you just go, it needs 2 cloves, boom, 2 cloves, you're going to be swimming in garlic flavor. So you want to work up to it. It's great, and you have to use less, but it's well worth it.
All right, so we are brought to you today by our sponsor, Walton's Inc. We know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? At waltonsinc.com, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like? Walton's created meatjuststicks.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. They even have their full line of meat grinders, mixers, sausage stuffers, and more to help you go from animal to edible. Walton's, everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50, to save 10% off of orders of $50 or more, and that's at waltonsinc.com.
When we return, hang out with us, the 5 don'ts this fall. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
The following is
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
Azure Standard is America's premier family-owned online store for organic foods and healthy products for your home and garden. They deliver directly to families and commercial customers through over 3,500 drop points across all 50 states. Azure Standard strives to make grocery shopping easy, bringing all your needs to one convenient pickup location. As a trusted national health food distributor, Azure Standard offers bulk and specialty health foods to communities nationwide. With over 12,000 products, each one is approved and carefully sampled to ensure the highest quality. Azure Standard holds firm to non-GMO, organic, and natural standards. From food and beauty products to household items, nutritional supplements, animal care, hobby supplies, and even garden essentials, Azure Standard truly has everything for your daily living. Visit azurestandard.com, that's A-Z-U-R-E standard.com. Use promo code Joey and Holly 15 at checkout to get 15% off for new customers who open an account for the first time and place a minimum order of $100 or more, shipped to a drop location of your choice. That's code Joey and Holly 15 at azurestandard.com. Azure Standard is A-Z-U-R-E standard.com.
Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com.
R.H. Shumway is a family-owned and operated gardening company with a large selection of seeds and plants online. You can use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rhshumway.com. That's code 15TG25. Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
Have insects such as aphids or fungal gnats invaded your plants? Fight back with Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bits. Organic Summit Year-Round Spray Oil kills insect pests on indoor and outdoor plants. All natural mosquito bits kill fungal gnats larvae in container plants. Both products are harmless to people, plants, and wildlife. Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bit are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and at SummitResponsibleSolutions.com. One Sweet Earth makes the last garden bed you'll ever need. Strong, simple, sustainable. One Sweet Earth beds slide together in minutes. No tools, no rot, no junk. Durable, non-toxic, woman-owned, made in the USA. Visit onesweetearth.com. Save your back. Easily and quickly remove trees and shrubs from your property with the Weed Wrench. Find it at weed-wrench.com. Made in the USA. Use coupon code WEED to save $10 off your Weed Wrench at weed-wrench.com. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy you're with us. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your day just for a little bit. Want to know more information about those sponsors that allow us to be heard on your radio station each week? The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com underneath the Radio 9 Season tab at the top of the page. Coupon codes can be found under the Money tab. Well, as fall's approaching, and yes, it is, whether we want to admit it or not, some people are excited about it, others are disappointed. There are some things that you do not want to do or do not want to forget to do when it comes to your garden.
Right. So one thing you want to do is you don't want to clean your garden out. So you can obviously you can trim back things if you want to.
Get the diseased plants out. Number one.
Plants out. If you want to take your trellises out, things like that, you can certainly do that. But the reason we're saying don't completely clean it out is because this can become housing for insects. Uh-huh. If it's something
because people will go in and just drag everything out to the curve. Or what's left, they'll take the lawnmower and mow it flat, and it looks like a field ready to be planted, and there's nothing left for any insects, good or bad, to be housed over the winter.
Now, what you can do is if you do want to pull the plants out, you can do that, but just lay them down. If they're not diseased, just lay them down in the garden, and that will then become part of the soil, and it'll still give housing for those insects
in the stems, in the stalks, and under the leaves. Bring leaves in. Let's not forget about adding leaves.
And that's another thing is you don't want to give your leaves away. When we say give your leaves away, we mean just taking them to the curb.
On the previous point there, cleaning your garden out. Take the diseased plants, your late blight, your powdery mildew plants, those type of put them in your trash. I know some municipalities don't like that, but there's finessing ways of hiding those items in bags and inside between
black
other
bags.
Yeah, black garbage bags.
Hide all your sins. So
because here's the reason why you don't want to put it in the street, because based on like early blight, for example, or late blight, late blight, if kept warm enough over the winter in compost piles, it can be introduced into your garden or other people's gardens. If the municipality picks it up and they go, go get some free composters, low cost compost, bring it to your garden, and boom, there it is, because it's kept warm enough all winter long. So, and spores of other diseases can be kept warm enough. So you want to dispose of them and get rid of them, whatever way you need to do under the cover of darkness.
Right. So going back to the leaves, you don't want to just give your leaves to the curb, to the city, whatever. If you don't want to mulch them. I mean, you can mulch them, but if you do mulch them, you want to put them onto your vegetable garden beds, especially. Or say you have a fun time raking them and you put them into a plastic pumpkin bag for decorations. Once you're done with that, don't just toss that to the curb. Take those leaves out and put them into your garden.
If you have black walnut leaves or eucalyptus leaves or other trees with high, those two are ones you don't want to use into your garden because they don't compost well. You want to avoid those for decomposition.
Are there a lot of eucalyptus trees?
Well, I'm just saying it's information.
Okay.
Information, facts, and trivia.
All right. So, you don't want to give your leaves away. You want to use them for mulch on your garden, and you can mound them up super high. If you're concerned about them blowing around, you can always wet them down a little bit with your garden hose, and this will help feed your soil. It'll give you a nice chance for mulch in the spring, and it is really good to feed your soil. So
some people really enjoy raking leaves in the fall.
They do?
Yeah, it's therapeutical.
I could see that.
What I don't understand is, the famous line from The Office, "Summer had to end sometime." The leaf is changing, and they're at the office.
Yeah.
You got people who are, gung ho about it. They have a big, massive oak tree. It's beautiful, and it's got like 7 leaves that have fallen on the ground. And they spend time cleaning those 7 leaves up, and the next morning there's like 5,000 leaves.
Right.
It's like wait until the tree completely drops all its leaves.
Some people they like to do intermittently,
and then they clean it real nice, and then the wind blows and all the neighbor leaves come in the yard.
Right. Realistically, you can just it's not illegal. The leaves aren't going to bust into your house and eat your
you've not seen the
food.
Nighttime crimes of leaves on trees, have you?
Yeah, so you could just leave your leaves. You could leave your leaves anyway. All right, so you don't want to neglect
trees at night.
You don't want to neglect your perennials. Perennials, usually sometimes you have to trim them back. Sometimes you might have to put some sort of hard frost protection. I know people do this with the rose bushes, things like that.
Which is not necessarily, but if you've got a plant that is adequate for your growing zone, we've talked about it on the program. If you're looking at getting perennials, you want to look at what your growing zone is. Example, if you're in growing zone 5, and get plants that are adaptable to growing zone 4, so that they can withstand the winter, so you don't have to protect them. But if you have tropicals or something like that, you bring them in.
We have these varying weather patterns, so if you...
That's why you get one colder.
Right, but if you are not sure, or whatever, maybe you have had this perennial for a long, long time, you can cover it. You can do whatever you need to do. If you have... I know there was one...
Figure out if you can divide it as well.
Right. There was this one really cold winter we had, and a lot of people lost their arbor... Vitae, whatever they're called.
Arborvitae,
yeah. So just keep that in mind. If you feel that, wrapping your arborvitae in burlap soothes your soul, and it's going to be bundled up for winter, do that.
But if it's going to be detrimental to the plant, don't. If it's actually going to do more harm than good.
Right. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
sometimes it makes sense why people do things. So you want to make sure that you don't forget to plant your bulbs. A lot of times, you might buy the bulbs.
They're on sale, 25 and get 13 free.
Or the neighbor kid came by and said, here's my fundraiser for school. I'm selling bulbs. And then you buy the bulbs and they drop the bulbs off to you. And you
put them on a shelf in the garage.
And you're yeah. So don't forget about your bulbs.
Then you find a basket of or a netted bag in the spring trying to figure out what was this. And oh, that was Jimmy's fundraiser. These aren't going to grow because they're
and they might
raisins.
Smell funny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. Don't forget your bulbs.
Jimmy got your money.
Jimmy.
But you didn't get the bulbs.
You got your bulbs. You just forgot to plant them. Right. So don't forget about your bulbs, or maybe like Joy said, maybe you got a good deal on them or something. You don't want to neglect your soil. So
we talked about that kind
leaves,
of the leaves, adding lots of leaves, and there's no limitations on the amount of leaves in which you can add. Now, if they're larger leaves, like oak leaves, you can mulch them in order for them to break down quicker, as the smaller particles will. But we have mounded leaves in our traditional garden or raised beds 2, 3, and 4 foot high, and by spring they have decreased by 2/3, and by June, didn't even know we put any leaves in the garden. So you can do that. Make a mound, make a pile, central pile. We've done that where we've taken the leaves in the spring and used them as mulch around our tomatoes and our peppers when we planted them. So there's a lot of things in which you can do. Again, you don't want to leave the soil bare. Even if you just put some leaves, some cover, something over the soil, you will be amazed how much healthier the soil, one, will look in the spring when you start planting, but two, it prevents the soil from weathering. You've seen soil that has been exposed to the air, the wind, water. It just looks dull and plain. Now, you can't look at a piece of soil and go, that's a healthy piece of soil, or that's an unhealthy to some extent. Now, if it's black and it looks like potting soil and that type of thing, it's different. But the more we can protect the soil, the better microbial life in the soil can be had, which in turn can be healthier for our plants. And less soil disturbance it decreases the amount of casualties those microbes will experience by exposing them to the atmosphere. So minimal amount of soil disturbance.
There you go. You also don't want to forget about lawn care. A lot of people feed their lawn in the fall. Uh-huh. You can do this with a lawn feed. I think it's usually typically higher in nitrogen. Or if you don't want to do something that is more chemical based, you can do something like corn gluten meal. But you do want to feed your lawn in the fall. Everybody, it's a rule of thumb. I know that through my research, through talking to different landscapers, it's the thing. You want to feed your lawn in the fall, and it prevents it helps your lawn absorb those nutrients in the best way over winter.
Yeah, apply a fertilizer in the fall to help cool season grasses recover from the summer stress and prepare for winter. Allow them to store nutrients for spring growth. So based on if you have cool season grass or warm season grass, you got to know your deal. If you don't care about your lawn, omit that last 45 seconds we just talked about.
One thing also to talk about is think about your trees. If you have a tree and as these leaves are falling, you're looking at it and you're like, that branch, looks a little questionable. Maybe I should get that trimmed because once snow starts falling on it, ice, whatever. Or if you have some sort of tree that you want to have trimmed in the spring, you want to keep that in mind.
Well, do it in the fall because these arborists, everybody in the spring goes, oh, it's spring. I got to get the arborist out here, and everybody's booked solid. In the fall and the winter, especially in places where if it freezes solid, they can get in without doing any landscape, any soil damage around your garden or in your property. That's the way to go. And in most, I'm not a lawyer and I don't pretend to be one because I don't want that mess. In a lot of places, if trees do fall in areas on cars or on pedestrians or on sidewalks, you as the homeowner are responsible because it is on your property and it detached and did damage to other people or harm to other people. So you are responsible for that as well.
That's really something that's important to think about is not just, is this going to fall on my Christmas
$800, I'm picking a number, $800 for an arborist, or legal fees and insurance calls and hospital bills. $800 is a cheap, I'm just picking a number, but it's very dramatically reduced compared to the potential expenses that I'll get it next year. Oh, the tree took care of itself and now I've got problems, because they will find
and
you.
This is something that is, the fall is a time for this, because you're going to see these things as the trees lose their leaves. And also, you just look up and you're seeing these things, and so you'll be more aware. So just keep that in mind, that you want to prioritize the safety, I guess, if that's the case. Especially, I know where we are, we've had so much wind, it seems like, and storms and whatnot, so could do some damage to trees.
Well, Holly, summer is soon to be getting over, and in some places the kids are back in school. Nights will soon be getting colder, but you do not want to forget about your lawn.
Just because it's fall, we don't want to forget about our yards and those Japanese beetles either. They may be gone, but they're not far. Not only did they feast on your roses and berries this summer, they laid eggs on your turf so they can start again next year. Take a stand on the phylum Grubgon. Grubgon is a non-chemical Bt granule that specifically targets scarab pests and their larvae. Simply apply the granule with a spreader, irrigate into the soil, and let the naturally occurring bacteria do its job.
Not only is Grubgon easy to use, but it's the only non-chemical choice that effectively controls grubs. And the best part about it, it's non-toxic to bees, butterflies, and pollinators. In fact, Grubgon has no label restrictions for use around flowering plants, so you don't have to worry about those bees taking it back to their hive and killing the hive. You can find Grubgon from PhylumBioproducts.com, the natural choice. That's Grubgon.com. Hang out with us. YouTuber Wendi Phan will be with us when we return. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
4-Jar Canning Supply, your one-stop shop for all your canning needs, where old ways meet new in every jar. They are a family with decades of home canning experience, offering top-quality products and outstanding service. Never run out of canning lids again. Whether you're a seasoned canner or just starting out, their extensive range of canning products will elevate your canning game. 4jars.com. Inspired by the homemade preserves of our childhoods, they want to share that same joy with you. They deeply care about your family's health and understand the importance of homemade, nutritious meals. That's why they offer high-quality products to help you preserve your food. Quality canning lids, pressure canners, vacuum seal machines, and all the tools you need to get the job done. 4Jars has you covered. Our canning lids provide the perfect airtight seal for any regular, wide, or gym-sized jar. With the thickest lids on the market, they provide long-lasting freshness, up to 18 months, and are rust-resistant, ensuring your preserves stay secure. Use code 4jars25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars.com. That's FORJARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars, FORJARS.com. Check out ivorganics.com. It's America's leading garden product YouTube channel. IV Organic products are innovative, organic, effective, and proudly USA made to help you achieve your best growing season. Use coupon code RADIO10 at checkout and save 10% on your entire order at ivorganics.com. That coupon code again is RADIO10 to save 10% on your order at ivorganics.com. If you could double the life of your raised bed boxes by sealing the wood with a clear, non-toxic wood preservative, would you? Well, now you can with a clear, penetrating product called Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's 100% non-toxic and easy to apply. Seal your untreated wood surfaces, even chicken coops, by spraying on Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's invisible, seals the wood from the inside out, and never wears off. Recommended by organic gardening experts. Internal Wood Stabilizer. Check it out at timberprocoatingsusa.com. Vermont Bean Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of seeds online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Want more information about those sponsors? Find them all at our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab and the Money tab for coupon codes. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Wendi Phan is a passionate YouTuber and creator of Wendi Land YouTube channel. She educates people on how to grow exotic plants and edibles, and also has a business where she sells the herbs and plants. Welcome to the program, Wendi.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, not only to educate Holly and myself, but all of our listeners. And I'll start with this. How did you get into growing exotic herbs and plants? Where was that aha moment for you?
The aha moment for me was when I discovered that there's actually herbs that you can grow, and there's so many different flavors, because I love cooking. And I just love being able to experience new flavors, new scents, and things like that in my food. And being in a small space, it just seems to make most sense to just get the most value out of it by growing, the things I can't really buy.
Well, and growing up, many people, large leaf basil, for example, there are like 16 or 20 different flavors of basil,
exactly.
Lemon, lime, chocolate, all these different kinds. And it's like, where was all this at? Why wasn't we, and then you can kind of create a whole world of flavors and seasonings with just growing basil.
Yes. It's amazing. And there's so many different profiles. Like, you may not like it, like with lime, maybe like a little more licorice, a little more spicy, it's just, you're right. Even just with one type of herb, you can have variety And
if you've never had lime or lemon or licorice, it is exactly what it tastes like. There's no flavor compared. It is exactly like a lemon, lime, or licorice. So if you don't like licorice, do not grow licorice basil.
You can grow the cloves or the cinnamon basil.
Yeah.
So how do you encourage people to grow these uncommon things, like the exotic herbs and plants?
Yes. So, I do a lot of like shorts, and sometimes I would do dedicated videos on these rare plants. And I think it's mostly just my excitement about it, because when you genuinely love a plant or a product, you just kind of express it that way, So like, I do sometimes like share some recipes, cooking. I love tasting it on camera. And so just being able to share, the flavors and just the beauty of it, because every plant, they're just beautiful, without you having to do anything more to it. So like, they smell great, they look great, they have a very unique taste. It depends on how you pair it with. And plus the medicinal properties, that's also another reason why I really got into more like growing food, is because of the nutrient benefits. So just being able to share that joy and that passion behind it, I think, is what really inspires people.
Now, whenever you talked about growing in small spaces, for people who are not familiar with the growing basil, is there any concern of cross-pollination, of different merging of flavors, or is that just kind of a garden myth?
That's a great question. I don't really experience that myself, because I tend to grow a lot from cuttings because it's faster. And if I grow them from seed, eventually certain ones are not as tolerant to the cold, so they'll die back. And they don't tend to seed that well. Only certain varieties do seed, and I didn't see them cross-pollinating, but I'm sure that is possible.
And when you do a cutting, explain to those who are like, "Oh, what is that?" You use that word faster. How can we grow these basils faster if we have, I guess, what is considered a mother plant?
So I love making cuttings because it helps me save time, especially in a small space. If I grow things from seed, it would take much longer and there's not enough light. So when you take a cutting, it's basically just when you have from like the top upper like stems that's still kind of like still firm, you just take that and you can either root them in soil or in water. And just in like a few weeks, you'll start seeing it take root. When you see them, they perk up a little more, you get the new growth. That's basically like the identical plant, the sibling of that plant. It's a great way to multiply your plants quickly.
That definitely sounds very efficient and helpful.
And would you recommend 2 or 3 leaves, or is there a certain number of leaves that, okay, I need that many in order for it to photosynthesize and start rooting, or what's the kind of the root or the rule of thumb there?
The general rule of thumb, I would say it's probably I like taking about between 3 to 5 inches. I know some people do very small cuttings, but I like them kind of between like 3 to 5 inches. And you can even cut the tip, like the top, maybe an inch off of it, so it can encourage the growth like side shoots, so you can get a much more compact plant. And also it kind of stimulates the growth when you cut the top off. So yeah, 3 to 5 inches, and then take 1 inch off of that cut.
Right. Kind of stress a little bit, so it has to put on those side shoots and kind of survive.
Exactly. Yeah, and leave a few leaves, on it. Not too many.
Oh, that's very helpful information. So tell us about your YouTube channel, which is also full of helpful information. The name of it, of course, and then also, what people can expect when they go check it out.
Yeah, so you can find my channel just by typing my name, Wendiland. It's Wendiland, and my channel mainly focuses on pretty much anything like specifically on rare plants and fruits, but nature-driven garden tours, any kind of unique things I find along my journey, my travels, rare fruits. I love doing fruit reviews. And then when it comes to DIY, I really focus a lot on small space because that's mostly coming out of my own garden. So it's like about vertical gardening, how you can utilize, maximize your space, like just to the max, and then doing trellising. So how to build ways to grow vertically. And my most recent project is a rooftop gardening. So I call it the Sky Garden series. I have a flat roof, so I thought I would take full advantage of it because there's just so much sun up there. And that's kind of the thing that I lack in the lower space, because it's like a patio garden that has a lot of shade. So that's something new on the channel right now. But mainly, yes, I focus on growing rare plants and exotics and tropical, subtropical plants and edibles.
You talk about rooftop gardening. Correct me if I'm wrong. Enoch over at the Urban Garden, the program you've been on a couple of times, he did a rooftop garden or in the worked or did one, did he not?
He did. He was growing peppers.
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely select the right plants. Yeah. The heat-loving plants. Yes.
Now, whenever people hear the word exotic, they think, okay, is she shipping these from other countries? Is there FDA or problems at ports to get them in? Or are these what you would find locally in the United States, just on a very rare level?
Yes, on a rare level. I mean, I have collected mine through like friends and family and different trips, and you can actually even collect plants when you're traveling within the U.S. You can actually take them on a carry-on. Yeah. So and plant fair, stuff like that. So if you meet people who have that same hobby, that passion, then you can just kind of trade, you can share them. And I grow a lot of them myself, so that's how I'm able to also supply, some of my viewers. I ship them within the U.S.
What have you found to be one of your biggest challenges growing these exotic plants, and how did you overcome it? I
think the most difficult part is also kind of like the fun part, is when you have something completely new to you and within your area, so you can't really find much information about it. So it's kind of like a mystery, but it's kind of fun and challenging. And I think with these exotic plants, I have been growing mainly more things like from the warmer area. So I think the winters here could be a challenge. But then after growing them for multiple years now, a lot of my exotic plants have kind of acclimated. They're doing better now. I used to have to protect them, certain ones, and certain ones don't make it, and and how sensitive they are to the cold.
And what growing zone are you currently in that you're experiencing this with?
I'm in zone 10.
Okay.
So it's pretty mild winter, right? But for some tropical, especially like a really new one that's like introduced to the area, they can get really sensitive to even like lower 60s Fahrenheit.
What are some of your what are some exotic plants that you would recommend for a new beginner?
A new beginner. One of my favorites would be one of the medicinal herbs. It's called ashitaba, and it's just this beautiful herb that does really well in part shade, part sun area, and it's just so medicinal, and it grows really well in a little deeper shade, or you can kind of introduce it to grow in a little bit more sun. And it has this deep taproot system, so it can be pretty hardy as long as you have like good, well-drained soil. It's just such a pretty plant, and because, like I said, the medicinal benefits behind it, it really kind of makes me think I want to keep, like giving it more love and attention. And because of that taproot, it just seems to be more hardy.
Now, are you growing most of these in containers or in the ground?
Both.
Okay.
I grow most things in ground. Oh no, most things in containers, but certain ones I do grow in the ground. Like it's a raised bed that's connected to the earth.
Okay. Well, we've really enjoyed having you on the program today and providing all this great information. Can you remind our listeners where to find your information, your website, YouTube channel, etc.?
Yeah, sure. You can find me over on YouTube or multiple platforms like Instagram, Facebook, also at wendywen.com. That's the actual website to the garden shop. So you can just type in WENDILAND all in one word on multiple platforms, or it's Instagram, it's Wendelin. So it's ITS Wendelin. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I should be found pretty easily. And thank you so much, you guys, for having me.
Absolutely. And for people who do want to purchase those plants only in the continental United States, or where's the shipping legalities at there for you?
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And when we return, it's going to be your garden questions and our garden answers. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Good garden tools make gardening easier. Wisconsin-made Cobra Head tools simplify weeding, cultivating, digging, and planting. Favorites of professional gardeners, Cobra Head tools are durable, ergonomic, and easy to work with. Visit CobraHead.com and use coupon code SOIL for 10% off your order. David J. Frank, Southeastern Wisconsin's leading landscape company, is a landscaper you need. Their award-winning services include everything from lawn care, landscape maintenance, design, construction, renovation, irrigation, sustainability, and more. Big or small, let the experts at David J. Frank handle the hard work for you. Find out more at davidjfrank.com.
Mantis garden tiller cultivators are the perfect solution for any garden. With their gas-powered 2-cycle or 4-cycle engine, these powerful machines can till 9 or 16 inches of land without you breaking a sweat. And it doesn't stop there. Mantis's optional attachments allow you to aerate, plow, and more with the snap of a finger. Engineered with durability in mind, Mantis tiller cultivators will be your guaranteed garden companion for a long time. You can find more out and details at mantis.com.
A non-selective herbicide that is also USDA BioPreferred certified? You bet. Say goodbye to Roundup and hello to No More Weeds by Naturally Green Products. No More Weeds kills weeds with no harsh chemicals and no glyphosate. Safe around pets, No More Weeds has a proprietary sticking agent to use around gardens, pools, decks, patios, anywhere there are weeds. Available online at natgreenproducts.com, Amazon, and Walmart.com. Order yours today. The same great company that brings you no more bugs. Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online.
The Shore and Shore utility cart is designed to help you with your projects around the yard and get your garden work done with ease. With a load capacity of 400 pounds, telescoping sides, the ability to use as a flat bed, and the option to pull it behind your bicycle. This cart is ideal for use around the garden, yard, lake, beach, park, and more. In short, the Shore and Shore is the most versatile cart in the market. Check us out at shoreandshore.com and get yours today.
Totally Tomato is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of tomatoes online. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at totallytomato.com. That's code 15TG25.
Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Thank you for being with us today, allowing us to be part of your day. Again, all those coupon codes and product company or the companies that are providing sponsorship for the program, trusted companies. You can find all that out at our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab and the Money tab at the top of the page. They are what allows us to be on the radio each week, financially supporting the program so you can hear us. We got a number of questions that have come in this week. If you want to submit your question, you can certainly do that and add it to the collection. You can send it to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can send it, give us a call, toll free, coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. Let's see what we can get through the top of the hour here. Why do my tomatoes grow better in the ground versus a container?
All right, so I don't know if this is always true, but there's a few different reasons why they would typically grow better in the ground versus a container, especially if you don't unless you're for some reason growing like one tomato plant in like a whiskey barrel or something. So a lot of times they have more space to grow in the ground, and the roots have more of a chance to get deeper into the soil.
More moisture retention.
And then they have a better uptake of water and nutrients.
If this is in the ground.
Yes. Yeah. And then in the ground also typically better spacing.
Temperature too.
The temperature as well. And depending on where you put the container, some people put their containers like closer to their house.
Right.
If your garden is like in an open space, they're going to get more sunlight.
Well, and the container will warm up.
Right.
And if you put it close to the house, the radiation or the radiant heat coming off the siding, if you have a dark house, it's going to radiate back into that plant and really heat the soil. If it's 85 or 90 degrees outside, that container is most likely 85 or 90 degrees. If you put your hand down in the soil in a garden, there's a little bit of coldness, moisture to it. It's totally different in containers. So some plants adapt better and do like that heat in the soil, eggplants or okra, but other plants
or even hot peppers,
but moisture is key to all of this, and it is much more of a challenge the plant will typically in a raised bed or traditional ground is able to find moisture even when moisture is hard to find, in a sense. Then if in a container, when it's bone dry, that's it, the plant's dead or dying, compared to in a ground where there is some moisture available.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's a few different reasons why there. So let's see.
Here we go. I have early blight on my tomatoes. Can I cut off the affected leaves? If so, how much can I remove off the plant and still have the plant live? General rule, 25%. Yes, you can remove the infected leaves on your early blight tomatoes. 25% of the overall foliage volume. Now, this is the same whether you're doing, if you're harvesting basil leaves, you want to take no more than 25% unless you're going to just rip the whole plant up and let it dry and do its thing. Same thing for a lot of plants. 25 is really a good number because that gives the plant enough leaf structure to continue to grow, but also you can remove the infected leaves. Now, if you're a mathematician and you go, okay, well, there's 29 3/8% of foliage that I need to remove, go ahead and take it off. But about 25%.
Sitting there doing some analysis on
Plant math.
Plant math. All right, so I never.
What did you say the other day was with the smoke, the ash from the fires? You were calling it
fire dust.
Fire dust. Okay. It sounds less invasive that way.
Smoke
Smoke is hazardous to your lungs, but fire dust. Fire dust is.
It's like friendly.
It's friendly.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I've never saved seeds from my vegetables. Do I allow the vegetable to overripe, remove the dry seeds, and store?
Yes. Next question. No. Yeah. That's really what it is.
It's kind of what you do. Yeah. Now, I wouldn't say overripe, but like
you want it to get as ripe. Tomato. Yeah. Almost to where it's falling off the vine. Bean. You want it to let it, like if you're growing bush beans, and you want to let the bean completely dry like a hard shell bean on the vine, then remove it. Now, if you're growing pole beans, edible pole beans, and edible pod bush beans, you want to label them because they do have some different characteristics in color, shape. But if you're not familiar, seed as a seed, you're going to need some labeling on that. And with anything, and we've talked about it, and we've had dozens of guests on the program over the last 9 years that say you got to label them because you'll forget. Brassica seeds all look the same. Broccoli, cauliflower, looks, kohlrabi all looks the same. Onions and leeks look the same. There's all types of parsnips. All these things look the same. You got to label them. And yes, you just let them dry on a porcelain plate, not a paper plate. Because the seed will dry into, and then you'll be chipping it off, and you'll have little pieces of cardboard or little pieces of plate, which is not detrimental to the seed. But yeah, you want to label them. Let them. Now, the way you want to dry these is tomatoes. We've talked about this. There's a different way of saving the seeds. You've got to put them in a water.
Like you have to
ferment them for a couple of days in order to get the gelatinous slime off the seed. Then you rinse them through a sieve. And then you dry them until that you can see like you would out of a package, out of direct sunlight in a ventilated area, which you can just have them in the corner of a room as long as there's some air circulation. But climate control, you don't want to put them in a dehydrator or anything like that where the heat can affect the germination rate on the seed. So bigger seeds will take a little longer to dry. Smaller seeds won't take as long. All right, I have a good harvest of potatoes. What is the best way to store them to get the longest out of them before they would potentially start to sprout?
So one thing you want to do is you want to keep them just like, so how at the store, they store them in those bags that have the air circulation, the holes in it, the holes. You want to make sure that you have air circulation for your potatoes. You don't want to just like put them in a plastic grocery bag and jam in the back of your...
Because that's mold.
Yes, exactly. So air circulation, if you have like maybe a wicker basket situation, you could do that. I would leave the dirt on them.
Yes.
Don't clean them, and then
put them in the dark.
Yeah, you don't want to give them access to light.
If you want ideal conditions, cool, dark, well-ventilated place, ideally 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and then avoid storing them in the refrigerator because they're going to turn on you. They're not going to be good. They're going to be mushy.
They also go through some weird starch process if you store them in the fridge, so you don't want to do that. Yeah.
So there it is, and there's a lot of good videos online that will kind of give you more of a direct, here's what would be best to do that. How can I figure out what kind of apple tree I have? I also have one more apple tree. I would like to figure out what kind it is. I have two kinds of apple trees. What are the best options? Well, option number one is doing a Google image search. That will only get you as far as technology will allow. It's a green apple. It could be, here's these, whatever. The better option is first of all, call your local extension office and see if they have an expert in horticulture that knows about apples. Typically, if they don't, they know somebody. Then you want to either submit an image to that person, or if they have one on staff locally, take a couple of leaves, take your apples, and then see if they can identify. The benefit to that is they are educated in apple trees in the general area that you're in. they will know that, okay, there's no way it could be these type of apples because those don't grow in this area. So they may not be 100%, but they will narrow it down going, okay, this is probably one of 3 different type of apples. And here's what my expertise tells me that it is. So there you go. And you can do this with pears. You can do this with a variety of different trees, fruit trees, that type of thing. Well, we are out of time, and we thank you for yours. Miss any portion of the program today or would like to revisit it, you can certainly do that by going to your favorite search engine and typing the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show, or going to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page, and all 9 seasons and 300 plus episodes are shown throughout those tabs. Tune into the program next week where we will discuss fall decor items you can make from your garden, as well as preparing the garden for winter, and invasive garden plants. Our guest is Derek Stolwell. He is a horticultural therapist, will be with us, and will answer your garden questions. So until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.